Saxon Algebra 2, Lesson 12. Oh my gosh, you guys, if there's anything I hope you take away from algebra, it's number 1, systems of equations, and number 2, graphing equations of lines. Those two things kind of connect, which is cool. But this is just at the heart of what algebra is all about. So we're going to review, and we're going to count them, one review problem. Example, sorry. One example, that's it. Don't take the fact that this is a short lesson to mean this is an unimportant lesson. It's like the heartland. This is our last lesson of the 4th week. Are you psyched? Are you pumped? We're making progress. Look, that is good progress. We have another 4 weeks, another 4 weeks, and then one more week. So we're almost 1/3 of the way to Christmas. I know that's kind of optimistic thinking, but I'm an optimist. I'm sorry, what can I say? Okay, the equation of a line can be written in several different formats, but our favorite is this one. Y equals mx plus b. This is called, I'm gonna write it up here, slope intercept form, okay? There are other forms of a line that we can reshape it, but this one is our favorite, and I'll tell you why. Because it leads us to a slope and a y-intercept that make it super easy to graph these. So we're going to talk a little bit about how you use this information. The y-intercept is what we always graph first, and it's simply the point on the y-axis where our line crosses. Okay, super easy. The slope is a little bit, it has more subtle details to it. The slope tells us how much the line tips. Now, slopes can be positive or negative, and let me show you John's super cool picture. These are examples of positive slopes, and the fun way that we can remember them is that the cars are driving up the hills. I think it's in Algebra 1, the picture that John shows like this has what looks to me like a girl in a convertible with a ponytail driving up the hill of the positive slope. I kind of love that picture, and it just comes to my mind so clearly. So the car's driving up the hill. Negative slopes, in contrast, go downhill, if you imagine the little car. The cars are always driving from the left toward the right, you know, just like we read a book. So uphill, positive, downhill, negative. Burn that little image into your brain, and you will be well on your way to remembering positive and negative slopes. Now, as far as graphing them, we remember that the slope is always a fraction, and if it's a positive slope, we call it the rise over the run. Just a second, I need to make a note to myself. Cars on hills. Okay. Rise means going up. Run means going to the right. So once we've graphed our y-intercept, we have a point. From there, we use the slope as a treasure map to go up a number of steps and then over to the right a number of steps. Or if the slope is negative, we go down. That's an S. It looks like a 5. Notice that the denominator of our slope always tells us to go to the right. Okay? When we are doing a negative slope, we change the top number, but not the bottom number. Okay? So this is our first point, then this is our treasure map that leads us to a second point, and then we connect the dots to graph. Okay? For now, the way that we're going to find our slope is just to count the squares on the graph. There's a better way, and we'll get to that. But for now, we're just going to count squares and call it good. All right, John has got an example for us. 12.1, like I said, it's our only one this time. And I'm going to draw it here. If you were doing this, you could just look in your book. But I want to show you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. His graph goes 6 units in every direction. So I'm just going to copy John because, you know, I'm kind of a wannabe. And then he's drawn 3 lines on it. The first one starts here. I'm going to put numbers on mine in just a second. You can draw with me. Pretend it's perfectly straight. I know it's not. I'm painfully aware that it's not. Okay, so what he's done is he's placed 3 different lines on the same graph. He's labeled them A, B, and C. Let's see, A is this downy one. And then C is the tippy one. And he wants us to find the equations to these lines. All right, fine, John, we'll play along. Now, A is weird. Oh my gosh, that is so not straight. But pretend it is. Pretend it's straight. We see that there's a vertical line and a horizontal line. Those are the 2 weirdos in this equation of a line club. And so let's just take care of them first. We're not going to see them very often. And you can logic your way through them whenever you get them. Normally we'll have things like C that are just nice little tippy lines. A is straight up and down. We notice that it only passes one axis. It hits the x-axis at -3, right? So the equation of this line is x equals -3. Okay? All I do is look at it and go, oh look, it hits the x-axis at -3, and that's all it ever does. No matter what y is, x is always -3. So that is the equation of that line. Weird, right? B, I'll do it in green since it's the green line. B is weird, but in an opposite direction. With B, it only hits the y-axis. And no matter what x is, B, or what the y rather, is always equal to -4. So for this one, I say y equals I can't make a 4 though. There, I'll just make it a big 4. -4. Again, it's a weirdo, isn't it? But when you see a horizontal or a vertical, don't panic. Just look to see, well, what is it touching? Here, which axis is it touching? It's touching the y-axis, and then I can see, oh yeah, no matter what the x is, right? These are all the different values for x. No matter what x I choose, y is always -4. So that's all you have to write. My gosh, so fun, right? All right, now how about C? Well, whoops, I'm using the wrong color. Oh no, I should be using orange. I will. There. I'm nothing if not color coordinated. All right, for this one, we need to find where it crosses the y-axis and what that slope is like. Now let me put some numbers on this. This would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this would be, see, the -3 relates to that. So this is -1, -2. Okay, and then positive numbers. And I'm not really worried about those, so I'm just going to leave those off. All right, where does this line cross the y-axis? This line being C. Well, it crosses right there at oh, this is, yeah, +3, right? So I'm going to write 3 down here at the end because I know that's where it's going to end up. y equals something x plus 3. 3 is my y-intercept. Now, in order to find the slope, what we're going to have to do is count from here to that point up there, right? So let's see how many steps it takes to get us there. We have to go up 1, 2, and then we have to go across all 6, right? From here to here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So the rise is, what did I say? 2, right? And the run is 6. So that's how we calculate our slope. However, this slope is extra fancy because we can reduce that fraction. And if we can, we do. So I'll divide top and bottom by 2 in my head, and I'll get this, and then this will be the final equation of our line. All right? Now, when we get into the fine points of formatting, I will say, as much as I hate floaties, I don't mind a floaty x. The x isn't necessarily connected to the numerator in this one. As mathematicians, our convention is we like to let the x kind of float, and this number kind of floats. So this is good. This looks nice. That's the way I want to see it. I hope this is all coming back to you. We will be doing a fair amount of graphing lines and dealing with lines this year. But we did a lot of it last year too, so it's not like it's a special emphasis. But equation of a line is one of those topics that we keep coming back to over and over and over and over again. So you'll have lots of chances to get it right. That's the good news. All right, that is the end of lesson 12. Students who have check-ins with me, I will talk to you later this week. If you are a student who found me on YouTube and you ever have questions, feel free to reach out to me. My email address is on my About page, on my YouTube, I don't know, profile, whatever you call it. But feel free to shoot me an email. If you have a question about anything, I would be happy to talk to you. I can either send you a picture, like if you're stuck on a problem, I can send you a picture of how to work it out, or I can make a short video to answer your question, to show you how to work that problem. So don't be shy, feel free to reach out. I would love to meet you and work on math with you. But if you don't have any questions, that's fine too. I'm glad you're watching. Okay, I'm done talking now. Thank you, goodbye.